everyone, and a very warm welcome back to the Easy English channel. I'm Olivia, and I'm really excited about today's topic because it's something I hear about from so many of our listeners.
And I'm Steve. Absolutely, Olivia. Today, we're diving deep into a subject that, let's be honest, many English learners dream about, but also find incredibly daunting. We're going to talk about how to speak English not just easily, but confidently, and crucially, how to actually enjoy the process.
That's right, Steve. If you often find yourself feeling a little bit nervous or maybe even completely frozen when it comes to speaking English, don't worry, you are truly not alone. It's such a common experience. But here's the really good news. Speaking English can absolutely become easy and feel much more natural, especially if you approach your practice in the right way.
Exactly. And before we even get into our tips, let's just remember something fundamentally important, okay? You do not, I repeat, do not need perfect grammar to speak good, understandable English. Honestly, communication is always more important than absolute grammatical perfection. It's about getting your message across, connecting with people, not about scoring 100% on an exam in every single sentence.
Yes, Steve, that's such a crucial point. I think so many learners wait until they feel ready or perfect before they even try to speak. But the truth is, and this is a big one, you actually become ready by speaking. You have to embrace making mistakes. Think of mistakes not as failures, but as little signposts that tell you where to learn next. They truly mean progress.
It's so true, Olivia. And that brings us perfectly to our first practical tip, which is incredibly simple, but so powerful. Speak every day. Seriously, even just 5 or 10 minutes makes a massive difference over time. Now, you might be thinking, but Steve, who am I going to speak to every day? And that's a fair question, but the answer is you can start with yourself.
That's brilliant. Tell us more about how someone can speak to themselves. What does that actually look like in practice?
Well, it's really about building that muscle memory in your mouth and getting your brain used to forming English sentences without the pressure of an audience. So, for instance, you could describe what you're doing in real time. I'm making coffee now. First, I need to get the mug. Then I'll add the water and press the button. Or you could narrate your thoughts out loud. I wonder what I should have for dinner tonight. Maybe pasta or a salad. You can even talk about your day, sharing your feelings or opinions about something you read or watched. It doesn't have to be complex. The goal is just to activate that speaking part of your brain and mouth daily. Even just reading something aloud helps, you know?
I love that. It makes so much sense because it removes the external pressure. Okay, so once you're comfortable speaking to yourself a bit, what's the second tip to really boost that fluency?
Our second tip builds on that internal practice. Try to think in English rather than constantly translating from your native language. This is a game changer. When you translate, you add an extra step, which slows you down. It's like trying to run a race but stopping to tie your shoe every few meters.
That's a great analogy, but how do you actually switch your thinking? It sounds a bit like just do it.
It's definitely a practice, not an instant switch. Start super small. Instead of your native language, try forming very simple thoughts in English first, like, I'm hungry, today is a good day, or I need to buy milk. When you wake up, just think, good morning, what should I do today? Or if you see something interesting, think, that's a beautiful car. As you get more comfortable, expand it. Plan your grocery list in English. Mentally rehearse a conversation you might have. It trains your brain to process directly in English, which will make speaking much faster and more natural.
That's super practical advice. And I imagine thinking in English naturally connects to our next tip, which I think is another powerful one, isn't it?
It absolutely does. Another incredibly powerful tip is to prioritize listening, and I mean active listening, before you even try to speak a lot. Think of babies learning their first language. They listen for months before they utter a single word, right? Their brains are absorbing everything. So watch videos, listen to podcasts like this one, listen to music, and crucially, repeat what you hear. We call this shadowing sometimes.
Shadowing? That sounds intriguing. Can you explain that a little more for our listeners?
Sure. Shadowing means listening to native speakers and then immediately trying to mimic what they say right after them. You're not just repeating the words, but you're trying to copy their pronunciation, their intonation, their rhythm, even their speed. So if you're watching a short clip from a TV show, pause it after a sentence or a phrase, and then try to say it exactly how they did. This really helps to improve your pronunciation and natural rhythm. It's like vocal exercise for your English-speaking muscles. It also helps you pick up natural phrasing and stress patterns that you might not get from just reading.
That's a fantastic technique. Okay, so we've covered speaking every day, thinking in English, and active listening. What about vocabulary, Steve? That's always a big one for learners, isn't it?
Oh, absolutely, Olivia. And here's where we need to learn vocabulary smart, not just hard. Don't just learn single words in isolation. That's often inefficient. Instead, learn phrases, or what we call chunks of language. For example, instead of just memorizing the word happy, learn the phrase, I feel happy today, or make someone happy. See the difference?
I definitely see it. It makes so much more sense because words rarely exist in isolation in real conversation. Give us some more examples of how learning phrases helps.
Well, think about it. English has a lot of collocations, which are words that naturally go together. You don't make a photo, you take a photo. You don't do a decision, you make a decision. By learning take a photo as one unit, you're learning natural English. Other examples include take a break, catch a cold, heavy rain, strong coffee. If you just learn heavy and rain separately, you might not know they go together perfectly. Learning phrases gives you context, helps with natural flow, and makes you sound much more natural. Try creating flashcards where you write the whole phrase, not just a single word. You'll be amazed at the difference it makes.
That is such a practical and effective tip. And speaking of making progress, I think it all really boils down to one thing in the end, doesn't it?
Absolutely, Olivia. Confidence is really key here. And I want everyone listening to remember this. People understand you far more than you think they do, seriously. Most listeners, especially native speakers, are focusing on your message, on what you're trying to communicate, not on tiny grammatical errors or mispronunciations. They appreciate the effort you're making to connect with them in English. The biggest barrier to speaking isn't usually a lack of vocabulary or grammar. It's often the fear of making mistakes.
That's such an important perspective shift. So often, we are our own harshest critics. How can our listeners build that confidence when they're feeling self-conscious?
It comes from consistent practice in low-stakes environments first, then gradually challenging yourself. Start with talking to yourself, as we mentioned. Then maybe find a language exchange partner online or a supportive friend. With each small successful interaction, your confidence will grow. And remember, every single mistake you make is a data point. It's feedback. It shows you what to work on. It doesn't diminish your ability. Embrace those mistakes as part of your learning journey.
That's such powerful encouragement, Steve. And it brings us to our final overarching point, which I think is the biggest motivator of all. So here's your motivation for today, everyone. English is a skill, not a talent. It's not something you're born with or without.
Precisely. Think about learning to play a musical instrument, or learning to cook, or even learning a new sport. Nobody becomes a master overnight, right? You don't just wake up one day and suddenly play the piano perfectly. You learn a little bit, you practice, you make mistakes, you learn from them, and you keep practicing. English is exactly the same. Your speaking skill will grow steadily and surely with consistent and deliberate practice. There's no secret gene for speaking English. There's just consistent effort.
Beautifully put, Steve. So, to wrap it all up, speak a little every day, Try thinking directly in English, listen actively and mimic what you hear, learn vocabulary and useful phrases, and most importantly, be patient and kind with yourself. Don't fear those mistakes. They're part of your amazing progress.
And absolutely, enjoy the journey. Learning a language is an incredible adventure. Celebrate your small wins. Every word you speak, every sentence you form is a step closer to fluency and confidence. You've got this.
Thank you so much for listening to the Easy English channel today. We really hope these tips empower you.
Don't forget to like, subscribe, and of course, keep practicing your English every single day.
Yes, keep speaking English.
See you next time.